Here covering a match between nasmith99 and Anders. So this board we have Steward is pretty strong trashing. Hermit is also good to pick off, curses that might come in, something like that. Smugglers can be a very powerful extra gain card. Ill-gotten gains is something to think about generally, but I think the tools are here that you don't really want to go for it super fast, and probably not at all. Hamlet gives plus buy. Conspirator is pretty reasonable extra payload once you're up and running. Mine is kind of noteworthy in how it works with ill-gotten gains, but I don't really believe in it. So I would be thinking about either Steward or Steward Hermit. And yeah, on the 2-5, you're very sad. And you probably, well, you get a Hamlet for sure. I'm not sure what the best 5 thing to get is, though. Here, I think I would have gotten another Steward and bought a Hamlet instead of the Madman, but both make some amount of sense. Here, there's a choice between taking a curse and then trashing and buying a 3, or just discarding and trashing and doing nothing on this turn from Naismith. I think I lean towards the doing nothing plan. Okay. Naismith goes the other way. So this should then be another Steward. Possibly a Smuggler's, but I think Steward. It's a little bit strange to me that was the time to think. I don't really like the silver either. But I would think that if you're going to think, you would think before you decide whether or not you're going to take the curse. This should be trash and buy Hamlet. Hamlet is the only kind of long-term village, and the only plus buy, but more that it's the only long-term village means you kind of want to get going to kind of want you want to get a lot of them is what I'm trying to say. Funnily enough, the curse in hand kind of helps the you can discard one of these, either the Steward or the curse here, to the Hamlet for a buy, which you should do, because then you're going to trash the thing to Hermit anyway. Then you're going to have 6 this turn, and I would be looking at getting something like, between my Hermit gain and my 2 buys, second Steward, Smugglers, and a Hamlet probably. Or it could be just one of those 3s and a Conspirator and a Hamlet, but I think that's a little bit premature. I think I would want a Steward, a Smugglers, and a Hamlet. And yeah, so Anders missed the O there. Let's check for him. And it's just me and Tracer who are specking right now. Naismith not discarding for the plus buy there seems to be a mistake to me. A pure mistake. You could also take a Changeling, I guess, but that doesn't really make a lot of sense at the moment. This, I would guess now this is going to be like a Hamlet and then you trash and buy a Torturer. But I'm not in that much of a rush to get a Torturer versus 2 of the cheaper cards. This is probably not much off, though. Okay, and a trash and a Hamlet. Yeah, that all makes sense. This is going to be Hamlet. Discard something for an action. Don't discard for buy, probably. Do this. Yep. Wow, Anders just taking the curse right away. We could very easily see a 3-pile ending in this game. Hamlets will probably run and curses will probably run, and then it's just a question of whether a 3rd pile can run. Yeah, so here you discard something for an action, I think. And then you Hermit to gain something, you trash and you buy a Hamlet. What is the thing that you want to gain? I still want a Smugglers. Smugglers just seems quite good here to me. But Naismith instead would like a torturer and not having trash with the steward. I think trashing is just too important. And he takes the steward. Now I think he's a little bit over terminaled. Pretty fortunate to wake up with a Hamlet. I think I mean, when I say that, he usually is going to wake up with a Hamlet, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's not going to be by any means guaranteed. Does he have two or three? Actually, if he only had two, then it's barely more likely than even. Okay, obviously you're going to take this curse here. They're just going to keep taking curses a lot, I think. I say obvious, maybe it's not that obvious. And he just takes. So Anders, yeah, Anders seems a bit behind here to me. Less well trashed, and somehow his deck just doesn't look very good. It's probably because it isn't very good. This also seems like a mistake. You shouldn't discard that copper. Ooh, bad luck that this Hamlet is on the bottom deck. But yeah, basically, even if he found the last Hamlet here, he's not gonna. Okay, but Anders just resigns. Yeah, it feels like a bit of a rage resign, but if you look at the decks, he's significantly behind. I mean, it's not that far, right? He has, well, two fewer torturers, more curses, more junk in kind of every. Yeah, he's pretty far behind. Okay. Lackeys, Doctor, Sentry. So a lot of different trashing options. Miser looks to be left out in the cold per normal. You're probably going to want to get a counterfeit because it's the only plus buy. So you're going to keep that in mind. 3-4 is not conducive to Doctor. Um, oh, it's not the only plus buy. There's Courtier. Now, what about multi-type things? I think there's just Caravan as multi-type. So Courtier's pretty lackluster, so I'd still be leaning towards counterfeit here. Capitalism works with counterfeit count and miser, but I'm still not super convinced. Also not hugely convinced about Sana and Avanto because I think you can get by without that stuff, although there isn't much draw without Sana Avanto, so actually it's very plausible that you could go Sana Avanto here. But there's thinning from Count, Doctor, Counterfeit, Sentry. It's going to be hard to get rid of the last couple things. Well, between Count and Counterfeit, you can probably do that, right? Capitalism also doesn't look great to me here. I think I might be going Sanavanto here. And if I'm going Sanavanto, I'm opening Silver Sana. But this is Silver Caravan, Lackey's Counterfeit. Lackey's, what was that? Lackey's paired with. Lackey's Doctor Overpay. Yeah, okay, that makes some sense too. Doctor's a little bit awkward with Counterfeit because they both are much better at trashing coppers than estates, but you do it anyway, I guess. So, Lackeys can be a village, kind of, and draw for you, so you can play without the Son of Anto here. Yeah, maybe that's better. I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it that long. Okay, so this is 5 again. We'll see. There's a number of options you could consider here. Goes for Courtier. Okay. Unfortunate a bit to hit both the estates in hand again here. I wonder a little bit about. Well, this is probably just got to be Courtier for the money. And then he might buy Capitalism. Let's see, those last cards are the Lackeys, Counterfeit, and remember. Takes capitalism. Okay. I wouldn't mind a count from Anders here, especially with the capitalism in play. Gaining the copper is offset by having the counterfeit, and it's going to be hard to get rid of the estates. Although pretty soon here he's probably going to want to get another lackeys to shore up his villager count. And obviously you're going to want a lot of caravans. I definitely wouldn't play this doctor. I mean, it can trash an estate, okay, and that's what he's going to go for here, but I'm not the hugest fan. Another courtier there I'm also really not a fan of because he's out of villagers and I would have wanted to replenish. I think I would have taken lackeys and a silver. And if I weren't going to take, if I were going to take another expensive thing, it would probably have been Count. Here is an interesting decision. You could choose to not play Caravan. Does he have a second Caravan, though? If he has a second Caravan, I think I'd play this one. But the thing you would do if you don't play Caravan... Oh, that's very interesting. I've just now thought about Counterfeit lets you multi-play something like Courtier Count and trash it. So that's an interesting option. Yeah, gold and money, and double fiver, Caravan, and I still want to count, I think. You can also keep just passing off the caravans. Okay, wow, resignation. These are a couple of early resigners, it seems like. Yeah, so I liked the position that Anders was in. The sentry just wasn't doing it for me. But yeah, it's Naismith was not trashed at all, it appears. Oh, yeah, the doctor. Yeah, doctor is just good, and the lackeys are good. But you gotta thin somehow, and so doctor's not your favorite way to do it, but um, anyway. Okay. So Alms Academy Highway. You're gonna be playing for some kind of big highway thing. Charm seems possible, but yeah, smugglers also seems very possible. There is no real thinning, um, and so that's the trick here, right? Is it's going to be hard to do some big, large turn thing without thinning. However, with Academy, you can probably get a lot of smithies and power through. Um, so I think I'd still try to do something pretty big. But I would open with at least one Marauder because that junk isn't going away. And if the junk isn't going away, you want to give it out. But probably just one Marauder, and then I would get it with, I don't know, a, an Ironmonger probably. I know people like Blessed Village a lot. I'm not really seeing it here so much. It's hard for me to know. I still don't have a great sense for the power of boons. Um, well, you top deck the Marauder, but yeah, I'm trying to think like what boons were particularly good there, right? There's um, the discarded treasure to gain a thing. A wisp would be okay, but even like if you get a wisp, that's not as good as Ironmonger. It's the discard a treasure to gain a card costing up to 4 would definitely be an improvement on the Ironmonger. Discard 3 cards for gold is probably an improvement. Other than that, I think I'm mostly preferring the Ironmonger. Anyway, that's a smithy already. I feel like that's maybe a little bit early, but maybe it's okay. So this should probably be Academy. And then you can go pretty hard on smithies. Because, yeah, this Marauder is now giving. I'm confused. What's the, Oh, well, you mean you should have known that Sea's Gift was coming. Yeah, yeah. This is always the tricky spot. I mean, it does matter, right? You got to go further through your shuffle, right? You got to draw that garbagey ruined library so you won't draw it your next turn. So it does matter. But yeah, the info of the next ruin is quite rightly not important. So interesting thing there. And with plus buy, it gets more interesting. The spoils won't be in play, so it works kind of nicely with alms, which is something I had not thought about until just now. Uh, I think I'd just be largely powering through getting a lot of smithies. As in, I'd probably just be buying smithy every turn for a while. You could look at a festival. Not so convinced. I think I would just like mostly be wanting to get a bunch of smithies. I want to pick up a crossroads at some point. Maybe a second one? But I fully then. Okay, so how's this going to work out, right? The smithies will run, and the ruins will run, and I'm not a huge fan of getting more blessed villages this fast. I think you get smithies first. Um, you just don't really need the village effect so much with Academy. Eventually you will, but then the game's running out, and I quite dislike keeping any debt for an Overlord. Like Overlord's a fine card, but especially if you're keeping 3 debt. Maybe if it was just 1, but even then I'm not so sure. Um, yeah, like here I'd probably play one of the spoils and buy an Overlord. Although, again, it's not even that clear because I fully expect the smithies to run out pretty fast. And once the smithies are out, your Overlord can't be a smithy, which is not so great. The Marauders, yeah, I think they're still worth it because the junk is just powerful enough that even though you're giving them villagers with it, it's good for you to give it, better for you to give it, but it's not like 100% clear because the spoils aren't particularly great here, and yeah, I don't know. This Overlord, this spoil should probably be discarded, and then I would probably play this Overlord as a festival. I think so that I can play Marauder, buy Crossroads and Alms for a smithy. But I really think they should be getting more smithies than they are. I mean, you could also just buy Smithy and Crossroads here. It doesn't matter whether you alms or not, really. Um, see which way Naismith decides to go here. Goes for Smugglers and Ironmonger. Yeah, I still want a lot more smithies from both of them. Um, and probably more smithy plays as well. Yeah, debt's kind of particularly worse in the alms game, right? So I really, really dislike that overlord that kept debt from Anders and the second one as well because it prevents you from almsing, um, which is a pretty big deal, right? It's not just that you're getting a worse card the next turn; it's you're not getting any card, and I don't think the flexibility of the overlord is worth it. So 6 here, yeah. Again, I don't like that overlord there for similar reason. Okay, so this should be a crossroads. Um, but again, neither of them have enough smithies, and they should just be getting a ton more. So I don't think this game is really being played all that well. And you just have to pay the debt here, and you could buy another overlord, but I don't think it's very good to. And doesn't. So I think that's good at least. This overlord should be played as a smithy. It makes all of these garbagey cards miss the shuffle, and like, okay, the ruins giving out is fine, but I just think that I don't know. I would not have gone for that. They both also have so many villagers at this point, and they're just not using them because they don't have smithies, basically. Um, yeah, there's nothing to smuggle here. I would play spoils. I would buy a smithy and alms a smithy. And I'm just going to keep saying the word smithy over and over and over again. And I would have just led on smithy there, I think, as Anders, rather than festival, um, rather than the overlord as festival. I would have just played smithy because I'm probably playing a lot of smithies, really. Yeah, and that gets discarded, and then this overlord gets played as a smithy, or the smithy gets played now, and he doesn't. He's going to play this as his festival, but yeah, there's just so many extra actions compared to what they need. They really need is more draw. So this should be getting played as smithy. Yeah. Would you rather have a spoils in your deck or not? It's not a trivial question, but I think you would rather have it here. Um, it lets you do things like buy smithy and alms for another smithy. Here, this should be smithy, smithy. Honestly, it should probably be 3 smithies, but um, I expect 2 and some kind of a 5 cost to get bought. And Naismith seems very far ahead, largely because Naismith has 5 smithies and Anders has 1. Also, Naismith has extra villagers, although that seems somewhat less importante. Okay, so by playing the copper and the spoils there, you're saying you would rather not have a spoils in your deck than have it in your deck. My feeling is that probably they would both make that play, and probably it would be rather inconsistent because they would also play a Marauder to gain a spoils. And those things shouldn't be happening at the same time. This should be a smithy. Probably the alms should have been a smithy, really. Okay. Well, this is a massive stack of villagers. You don't need more villages. Um, yeah, so there he plays the Marauder, right? He plays the Marauder as if I would rather have a spoils in my deck than not. But the previous turn he played the spoils instead of alms, as if to say, I would rather not have the spoils in my deck. So those things are rather inconsistent with each other. It's very unsurprising to me that those happen simultaneously. Um, but yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I would just be playing all of these smithy. Oh, that's very good. Play these smithies. Play the smithy. Play the smithy. Yeah, you're not going to run out of villagers before the game ends at this point. So just draw more cards. Play the village. Overlord is smithy. How close is this to a game winning scenario? Not that close. Yeah, there's not enough buys slash gains here, but it's also not that far away. Play a smithy. Yes. Village. The ironmonger first, sure. Okay. Smuggle. I don't know what he can smuggle here. What can he smuggle? He should probably check that before randomly clicking on it, but Overlord, he can't smuggle anything. Cool. So don't play your smugglers. Probably Ruined Library. I don't remember what this last card is. I might not play this Overlord as a smithy. Just, FYI. Because there's only one card left. And I don't remember what it is. If I knew what it was, I might play the Marauder here and still play it as a smithy, but okay. So this is now probably Overlord as Festival. At some point you also want to think about playing it as a highway. But I think the buys are more of a limiting factor right now, right? 3 buys, that again with 4 buys you get to 5. Okay. So now this is as a highway. Could also still be a festival, I guess. Okay, this is a highway. You play the Ruined Market, and I don't think you need to play the mine. I don't think. It's 19 money and 4 buys. So we could go like province, smithy. Then he couldn't. No, you could go province, smithy, right? No, that's 1 money too much. So you could go like province, smithy, highway, or crossroads. Province, smithy, crossroads. That seems good. Okay, or yeah, playing this suggests that this is probably going to be province, and then something like smithy. If you're going to play that mine. Really, I think I probably would have gone with smithy crossroads and not played the thing, but this is good. Probably this is going to be a win on Naismith's next turn. Yeah. Anders resigns. So moving right through this match, we are less than half an hour in, and we're already through 3 games, so that's pretty nice. Okay. So we have Seahag here, and the only thinning is Mint. Also more trashing in the form of Engineer, of course, but seems unlikely to be relevant. Scouting Party is probably going to be pretty important. And yeah, I think Fool's Gold possibly also very good. You got to open with the Hag, though. And I think I would have gone for Fool's Gold over the Courtyard. But this should definitely be a Hag. I think I would open Sea Hag Fool's Gold on any split. I guess possibly on a 4-3 I would go with Sea Hag Engineer. I think about that a little bit. But I, in general, want to be making pretty judicious use of Scouting Party. while also getting fool's golds. Um, and that's my primary game plan here. Um, here, yeah. Again, I would get a fool's gold here as Naismith. On Anders' turn here, I think you seriously have to think about what you're buying with your 3. And one of the options I would heavily consider would be Scouting Party nothing, just to get to your Sea Hag faster again, because you want to win this curse split. Um, oh, also I guess on 2-5 or 5-2 you should think about Fool's Gold Mint or Mint Fool's Gold, um, which is possible. But I would be somewhat concerned about getting too flooded with curses from a Sea Hag. No, it's probably still good enough though. At some point, also you want to think about a flag bearer, but not yet. I don't think. Okay, so that hits. Oh, I don't like the crossroads at all. I think crossroads is quite a poor card on this board, so I am not a fan of that purchase. Yeah, as Naismith here again, it's the same choice between Scouting Party and. Okay, so he's already gotten a silver, which suggests he's not going for the Fool's Gold route, which I think is not good, but it's a decision. So now I think the Scouting Party has got to be more important than the Basilica points. I think you're going to be buying. Well, again, I would go back for Fool's Gold, but I would expect it to be silver from Naismith here. But I think you go Scouting Party into silver rather than silver for Basilica points. He goes for the Basilica points, but I think that's a mistake. Um, with exactly 8 cards left, it would be a little bit bad in the exact case where Anders could then play the Sea Hag, and then you have this shuffle getting triggered. But then you can probably just scout again anyway, and in the case 3 actually got, it was much better, so yeah. Here again, I think I would scout rather than take the silver. But it's very tricky to work this kind of stuff out because there are considerations with Basilica points as well as, wow, this is a lot of courtyards getting bought. But Basilica points as well as exactly when these shuffles are getting triggered. So like here, you definitely should not Scouting Party because you don't want to trigger this shuffle right now. On Anders' side, you see the problem of getting so many terminals. He should probably just play the Sea Hag. And I don't really believe in like Crossroads Courtyard as a positive, especially a positive enough thing. But yeah, this is so many courtyards from both of them, really. And I do not really understand the purpose, the porpoise. Yeah, this is an okay play to make. Port. Oh, so they're going for ports. Okay, how have I not seen the ports getting this low? I still don't believe in going for ports and that kind of thing with all these courtyards, but um, yeah, it's a lot more plausible, I guess. See if he gets another courtyard or nothing, or okay, so there's a crossroads. You stick the port back for sure there. Engineer. Okay, so now the game looks like it may be heading for a pile ending. The nice thing about Engineer is that it does work well, basically, with Basilica. Yeah, you just got to trigger the shuffle. There's too many cards to not play any of them. I think. Yeah. Now let's see if this is Scouting Party, which is I think what I would take, or an Engineer or a Courtyard, or another Crossroads. Or I guess something besides those, but I really don't think it's going to be a different option. Engineer would score more Basilica points. Yeah. So curses are going to run out relatively soon. Um, Stick whatever back here. You're going to trigger the shuffle. Now, I don't know what's in his hand because I can't see very well, but okay, so he sticks the silver back and buys ports and does not scouting party, which I guess is okay. This seems like a lot of work to get this port courtyard thing going, which doesn't actually even draw very much. And so Basilica points are now gone and they've been evenly split. The curses currently are being evenly split. Anders, think, I think, is ahead on the back of these engineers, really. But it's quite close. Gets the fortress because he doesn't want to lower the ports. Port courtyard. And you stick the port back because you would rather have the port in your next hand than not, and it doesn't do anything to stick. I mean, I guess the other option would be to not play the port and leave like a silver on top, but believe that that's worse than doing, yeah, this, the scouting party. Um, Takes a flag bearer, sure. Sticking a state back and buy, we'll see. I guess it could have also thought about sticking copper back, right? Now is a very interesting decision. Um, Between flag bearer, port, and duchy, I think are the main options. I'd probably lean towards taking the flag. It's such a big deal and the game is ending soon enough that that seems good, whereas not soon enough that I'd want to take the duchy. Um, Having the flag at any given moment is pretty good. Now, looks like this hand is all whatever. Um, you stick the hag back before you stick the curse back because making them discard is a slight positive, but it's more or less equivalent in your deck to a curse. At least having the option of, oh wow, I hate that mint. I think I hate that mint. You just don't have enough economy, right? So now you're drawing, yeah, okay-ish, but you don't have much economy. Okay. So Naismith, I think, should take the flag back here. Yeah, I like playing the Sea Hag over not playing it at this point in the game. Um, Simply because this should definitely be a silver. Simply because, oh no, 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 no. Okay, I think Anders is basically lost now. Yeah, mostly your opponent's deck is getting worse, I think, now, and so making the shuffle happen faster is a good thing, I think. Looks like this is 7, at which point you would top deck, I would think, a silver, but could be that you top deck actually like an estate and buy a 5. I'm not super sure that I like the port buy there. Like, yes, it hastens the end of the game, but do you really need to do that? I guess it's probably fine, right? Like, it also does make his deck better, and keeping that advantage is good for him. So 6 money. Top stacks flag bearer. Not a big fan of that. Looks like he's going for this multi-turn pile out, but I really don't quite like that because I think that the way that this goes badly for you would be, oh wow, I really hate the estate buy too. That's not going to get you anywhere. Um, the way that it goes badly for you if you're Naismith is if Anders spikes a province and then beats you. So I would want a little bit more of a points lead before I do a thing. Discard curse, flag bearer, flag bearer. Okay, no, he's going for this, which is bad if exactly province gets spiked here. And Anders is one money short. To be fair, Anders has like barely enough money left in his deck to be able to province, but yeah. Well, this is the game. Anders can get a duchy here maybe, but okay. We move to game 5 of this match. They're still going at a pretty nice, pretty speedy clip. Okay, so there is Page. There is Silos. Works pretty well with Page and Hermit and Transmogrify. Rabble also works well with those. Barracks kind of gets obsoleted by a champion. City, yeah, might draw, but you're going to get a lot of Rabbles probably. And then Festivals for the plus buy. So I think Silos Page, possibly, or Hermit Page or Transmogrify Page. But I think Silos should be worth it here. You go Silos Page, and then you pick up a Hermit and or a T-Mog as your next buys, but you're just mostly you're trying to cycle your page around pretty fast. You would like to be able to get Rabbles and Treasurers, but you're not super fast on that. And then you also get Festival, I think is mostly going to be better than Capital here for most of the game as your source of plus buy, but yeah. Okay, so we see Hermit Page versus Silos Page. There's the Silos. So Naismith should just discard 1 copper here. Yes, finds that play. Good. Now you Hermit, you trash an estate, you gain a Hermit, and you take a Madman. I think should be a lot better than getting another Page. Maybe not a lot better, but I think it is better. Yeah, Anders has a second Page, which, okay, given that it was a choice between Page and nothing, is definitely good. Getting the extra treasures will eventually be good. And in the meantime, it's just a cantrip, so it's, it's fine, right? I might take a treasure on my first 5 before Rabbles. Probably depends a little bit on what my deck looks like at this point. At that point in the game, I'm probably not taking cities, really. Yeah, so this looks like a Madman play. Yes, okay, good. Now, we'll see if it's another Madman play. I think I'd make another one. Oh, well, this is going to be discarding coppers first, of course, yeah. Oh, yeah, now I'd definitely make another one, right? You trash an estate. You pick up another Hermit. I think it's worth it to pick up another Hermit here. Though it's getting close to the point you could think about taking a Page instead. That is a lot of silvers that Anders has just taken. Which normally is like a fine thing, but here, I don't know. Maybe? Actually, it might still be good. You just say, like, no, I'm going to play for treasures. I'm going to play for just single provincing. a lot faster than you. And I think that probably is fine. Um, anyway, this is going to be discarding all these coppers. All these coppers. Discard all these coppers. Play a madman. Probably don't play another madman, just play a warrior. Yeah. Hold pat on this madman. And figure out what you're going to buy. I think I would go for a treasurer. The last two cards there are a hermit and a copper, okay. Or a madman and a, no, a hermit and a copper, yeah, okay. So again, you're going to discard 3 here. You're going to madman. You're going to feel unfortunate that your treasure, actually, it's not so bad that your treasurer missed. But you're going to hero a capital because you want the plus buy. You're going to trash that. You're going to take a page probably. I think I would take a page, a capital, and a rabble. Oh, I hate barracks. Why do you barracks if you're getting champion? Yeah, that's no good. Should have been a rabble. And now this should be, I think, yeah, this is just some turns behind for Anders. Anders should takes a rabble rather than treasure, which makes some amount of sense, but okay, madman. Oh, I understand why the barracks. He wanted the madman. I still don't like it though. um, I would seriously consider taking the key here. This is a more standard play, double rabble. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, Naismith looks to be significantly ahead at this moment. Gains another hermit. Not a fan of gaining another hermit. Would have gained a page if I were Anders. I don't know that you were wrong. Like, there's a lot of I mean, you might be wrong. It could be the hermit's good, but um, like there's a lot of luck and draws and stuff that happen, right? Anyway, treasurer should I think really take the key now. I mean, trashing is still probably okay as well, but no, maybe trashing is better. Then you'll have 511. Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's okay, but you're not super likely to be able to hit silos on turns 3, 4, right? If you hit silos on turn 3, if you hit 4 money on turn 3, then yes, I like getting the hermit. So I don't know. I don't think that has much to do with the starting player thing, though. Yeah, I think what I would do here is... Oh, there's a silver in the trash? Well, that makes other things somewhat more appealing. I would be getting more plus buy conveyors, though, and I think Festival is better than Capital. Yes, so I like this. Not sure, actually, that taking the silver's worth it, though. Maybe. But yeah, you flip to that. Yeah, taking the key stuff not seeming as good. Yeah, I don't know that. The silos actually also makes trashing somewhat less important. Trashing these coppers. Okay, so this is Rabble Province Peddler or something. No, that doesn't make sense. Wait, does it? 13, 6. Yeah, no, that makes some amount of sense. At least. Okay. Not sure I would have actually switched for a warrior, but it's probably at least okay. Hermit. All these hermits keep gaining hermits, and I'm not really sure why. So Anders has a ton of rabbles now. You just play your warrior. Festival, treasurer. 4 buys and a ton of money. So like Rabble, Province, Peddler. I don't think you're gaining a lot by waiting a lot longer to start greening. You can start looking at cities. Those are labs now, basically. And if the hermits run, whoa, triple gold is not something I like. Like, just why? Also, gold is just basically strictly worse than treasure with a champion. Just, something to think about. 2 buys, double province, let's go. No. Seriously, though. I don't know what it is that Anders wants here with 2 buys and no way of getting more buys, I think. Oh, did he get another capital there? He gained another capital. So yeah, with the hero, that is a plus for him. Anders is still in this, yeah? Rabble. His problem is he has like these hermits and stuff, right? So he's just gonna get like city, yeah. Okay. So he just wants one big turn and hope that that's enough. Interesting idea. Don't think it's going to work out, but it is interesting. Is this quad? This looks like quad. I haven't done the math, but it looks like quad. 20, 24, 30, 35. Yeah, this is easily quad. And that's going to be a big problem for Anders. This should also be taking quad. Yeah. Anders does find this hermit, so he gets to know. Okay, playing the rabbles first is fine. So you take the hermit here to activate these cities. City, rabble. Okay. Now, okay, no, you should think a little bit more before you play. Well, I guess it doesn't matter too much. Taking a page is at least fine. This isn't enough money, right, to win or tie even. Oh, it is enough to, no, it's not enough to tie. Okay, so now you go city, something. You get a couple more cities. You gotta get, no, you gotta get more cities. You don't get that many duchies. You definitely take the peddlers, yeah. Okay, okay, there is a chance. So this is only one province. But Anders still has to draw. This is why I didn't like taking quite all this stuff. I think I would have liked, you know, at least one city and maybe not the estates yet. Womp womp. Okay, now I assume that Naismith is very likely to be able to province here. He needs to play this rabble still, because this is not enough money yet, because the debt. Now it's plenty, plenty enough. Take something from the trash. Province, duchy, duchy, or whatever. Okay, very interesting game. I think there were different things that, you know, I kind of like how Anders played the end better a little bit. Naismith obviously had a much bigger lead from the start, so was doing all the hermit thing just to be able to activate cities worth it? Well, certainly the opponent could realize what you're doing and also get the cities and just not have all these junky hermits piling up. But yeah, I don't know. Let's look at this game. This game, Conquest leaps out to me as a source of a very large number of extra points. We have Capital again. We have Margrave's a very strong card, and Catacombs, together with Wandering Minstrel and Farming Village, should give you plenty of ability to draw, even without much trashing. There really isn't any way to decrease the number of stock cards in your deck. There's only Ducat. Now, they both had 5-2, and yeah, I like Margrave nothing on the 5-2. On a 4-3, I would take Magpie Silver, I think. I like Silver over Oasis, although it's not, you know, completely clear. Gaining a second card is something that Magpie is going to facilitate, as well as just you're kind of naturally going to get it from Margraves. But I would want one Magpie. 2 5s this early is really don't like these Oases after you're getting this many Margraves this early. It really take a silver there. You could also think about taking Ducat, but I'm not such a big fan. Really want to start getting Minstrels, and yeah, I think I would still like. My inclination is I want to get the Magpie, but I don't know. Yeah, this Oasis doesn't look so good. Anders getting a lot of them, but I'm just really not a fan. Also, I think the Oases are a little bit worse. They're a little bit better for your Magpies in some ways, and a little bit worse in other ways. They're good at letting you get extra Magpies. I don't think that that's that critical. They don't make the Magpies draw cards, which I think is, you know, more important. And your Wandering Minstrels are eventually going to allow your Magpies to generate more Magpies anyway, I think. Actually, I'm not sure whether the second Margrave I would have gotten would have even been a Margrave. I might have gotten a. This should definitely be a Minstrel. A Catacombs instead already, but I'm not entirely sure about that. So, like here, this is going to be the Magpie should hit probably the Minstrel is what you draw first, just like they've done. And yeah, I probably would have gone ahead and triggered as well. That shuffle, and Hmm. Now I would probably get minstrel and silver. If I only had one Margrave in my deck and a Catacombs instead, I would probably be looking at like minstrel and ducat there, but this might be the path that Anders is going down. But I'm just really not a fan of these oases. Should probably be another minstrel here. Minstrel is just such a good card. Could think about Catacombs, but yeah. There we are then. Discard the copper, play the magpie. Discard, yep, 4 minstrel. So lead on magpie. Now minstrel. Now minstrel. Now minstrel. Now Margrave. Yeah. Okay, so Naismith's deck's really coming together. Margrave next. Oasis, deck drawn. Okay, now how much money is this? Okay. So you need to increase your draw a little bit more. You don't really need more minstrels at this point, or villages, but like your magpie stuff, not the most clear. Might not have played all these. I might undo this here so that I can think about taking a ducat and trashing a copper. 10 money is not a great amount. Okay, well he's really shoring up his draw, which makes some amount of sense, and actually, especially if what you're going to do is go for like Silver Conquest in the turn. You're going to have 10 money again the next turn, so there is that to contend with. But yeah, I have Margrave now instead of minstreling, but this is okay. You can probably pile out on magpies this turn. Probably discard these, obviously. And minstrel next, and it looks like he's unlikely now to be able to pile these magpies. But this should be 10 again, right? Yup. Somehow the deck barely drew again. I don't really understand. It must be that he was Margrave attacked on his previous turn, but not the turn before that. He's Margrave attacked before this turn, but not the turn before, right? So, yeah, this could be gold gold in a village of some sort. Gold in a, yeah, okay. So, but there is some amount of worry to be had that, okay, the magpies are now gone, as we knew they were about to be. And, okay, Anders probably should take a catacombs here. Yep. So the magpies are gone. The minstrels are quite low, so you have to worry a little bit about pile outs. But we don't really have the gains, and there's no third pile that's super close right now, so you don't have to be worried about too much. It's a bit awkward that Magpie now anti-synergizes kind of with Minstrel a little bit. I probably had thought at least about taking a farming village the previous turn. Maybe that's just insane. I don't know. So this should be 13 now. And that can be... It could be double conquest, but you kind of want to get your draw up a little more before that, right? So I wouldn't mind something like catacombs, ducat trashing a copper. And it looks like they're going to do ducat trashing a copper. It's just a question of what the other stuff is being spent on. Oh, gold and a minstrel. I think this is like too much in terms of minstrels and not enough in terms of actual draw. Like, you do want to make sure that you start with a minstrel, don't get me wrong, but you're also going to want to increase your payload. I do like, it's a nice touch there to play the magpie first. Um, I mean, anyone is free to resign at any point, but I would not here because, like, I don't think Naismith is prosecuting his advantage as best he could. Play minstrel. Surely you play a minstrel here, right? Right? Oasis. Yeah, you don't have enough draw now, right? So you need to get 2 catacombs. Chat is not saying anything. Yeah, I don't like the Oases is the big thing. It makes your price points not run as well. Um, I think I say Oasis is the big thing. I actually think Shuffle Luck is a big thing, but also I don't like the Oases. Um, there are probably other things, but it's kind of hard to track exactly what's going on from everyone. You don't have enough draw either, um, but I think that's actually because of those things that happened earlier. Okay, so Naismith now should lead with Minstrel, obviously. Yeah, I don't think the Labyrinth is actually that big of a deal. Um, Minstrel. Play Oasis, discard Copper. Keep Magpie Catacombs. Yep. Okay, so this is a drawn deck again from Naismith with 4 buys. So the game's really not over here. I would want more Catacombs because you're still not drawing enough. So now, let's see. Anders only has 3 buys, so you don't need to worry too much about lowering the Catacombs. Anders also doesn't really have enough money to do that, so I would think about something like Catacombs, and some economic something here. But there's also maybe capital. That is a weird. I don't know. I think that's a reasonable place to resign, honestly. He's very far behind. But I also think that Naismith was really kind of not really advancing um, his position that well towards the end. Like, 7 minstrels is just more minstrels than he needed, um, and could have been doing other stuff better. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and hopefully you learned something.